The mother of Imam Bukhari. We do not know her name, only her legacy. Her son Imam al-Bukhari is one of the greatest scholars of this ummah, with the most authentic book after the Quran. Her husband, who was also a great scholar of his time, died leaving their young son an orphan. At age 12, Imam al-Bukhari became blind, and his mother would spend her nights in prayer begging Allah to return his sight. During her son's years of blindness, she taught him hadiths and their chains of narration. One night, she dreamt that she saw the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he told her that her son would see again. When she woke, her son's eyesight had returned. She took her sons to Hajj and left Imam Bukhari in Mecca to study under the scholars. Her incredible faith, hope and steadfastness has given us one of the greatest scholars of this ummah, Imam al-Bukhari. My parenting tips. Make dua for them all the time. The Prophet ﷺ said, 3 prayers are undoubtedly answered: the prayer of the one who is wronged, the prayer of the traveller, and the prayer of a father for his child, narrated by Ibn Majah 3862. The dua of the mother is not rejected. This is very important for many reasons. The hearts are in between the fingers of Allah, and only He has control of what or who our children will become. But your dua supplication as a mother is huge. Remember in the Quran, the mother of Maryam alayhi salam, her mother made dua that the child she was carrying would be dedicated in the service of Allah and not touched by shaitan. Allah answered her dua in the form of Maryam, a girl. Her mother had not specifically asked for a boy, but she believed that she was carrying a male child whom she wanted to be in the service of the temple. However, all the dua she asked for came true with Maryam, and she was the first girl to be accepted into the service of the temple, to be taught by the scholars of the time who fought over who would be in charge of her, as she was exceptionally intelligent. She was also one of those who was born untouched by the shaitan. Maryam was then blessed with becoming the virgin mother of Jesus alayhi salam, one of the greatest prophets and a sign until the day of judgment. It is also important not to make dua against our children when angry. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Do not pray against yourselves. Do not pray against your children. Do not pray against your wealth, lest that coincides with a time when Allah is asked and He gives, so He answers your prayer." Narrated by Muslim 3014. Be practical and don't do things the hard way. There's a saying, there's no use crying over spilt milk. It's funny because I always remembered this saying when my children were small, and it was a good reminder to me that whatever is going to happen will happen. Apart from that, children are children, so we should let them be children. That means letting them make a mess, letting them have fun, letting them just explore the world. Don't get angry when your child spills some milk or a drink. Accidents and mistakes happen at any point in one's life and are an opportunity to learn something new. When your child does spill something, just teach them how to clean it. Don't kick up a fuss and cry and shout at them. This is counterproductive and doesn't teach your children how to deal with life's problems. Not only that, but by overreacting to small situations like this, you will make your children feel like they can't come to you about problems because you are going to react in a negative way. Be aware of any bad traits or behavior early on and address it before it becomes their habit and personality. This starts from when they are babies. It might sound extreme that I mention babies here, as obviously babies don't have bad behavior. What I mean here is that a child's personality shows from when they are babies, and as you spend time with your child from birth, you will notice unique things about their character which, if you have other children, you will be able to tell them apart. These personality traits are pointers on how to deal with your child as they grow. Children should be treated according to their personality. Not everything or every type of discipline will work for every child. Some children are differently easier to deal with than others. Some are more energetic and can seem to be more challenging. Some children may have special needs, so could be more vulnerable, and may need a lot more attention. As a mother, you know your children, So it's really important not to let your love for your children cloud your judgment into believing that any bad or negative behavior from your child will correct itself. That's like saying you can fix a bad recipe after you've served it out. In order to train a tree to be straight, it must be trained that way from when it is small. Don't be unreasonable in discipline, and don't feel bad about disciplining your child. Do it out of love, knowing that it is to prevent from the greater harm in the future. When you see that your child is doing something wrong, you need to correct the mistake in the beginning, because ignoring it, expecting it to correct itself, is a sign of approval of this behavior. You will be confusing your child if you let them develop bad behavior until it becomes a habit, and then try to stop them from doing it later. Everything is easier in the beginning when it comes to raising children in this regard. You may feel guilty, but prevention is better than cure, and you will be saving your child and yourself a lot of headache in the future, inshallah. Be reasonable when it comes to discipline and remember why you are doing it. Make sure that you communicate with them so that they understand what they did wrong. Discipline is something that should come from a place of love, with the best of intentions, and isn't always sweet, but it is a must. It is one of the ways that we can train our children to have good manners and behavior. It can be difficult seeing your child become upset or cry because you've had to tell them off, but you need to think about the long run. Inshallah, your child will grow into an adult, and if they carry bad behavior to adulthood, then you will be the one with the sad face, crying and ashamed because a human being that you raised has caused harm to someone, which is harmful to you and to themselves. Don't take your anger and/or bad moods out on them. If you do, never be too proud to apologize afterwards. Everyone has their bad days. Make sure that you do your best not to express your anger or frustration about things that you're going through towards your children. This does not mean that they shouldn't see you upset, sad, or even angry. It just means that you need to manage your expression of these feelings and communicate with your children in a way where they can empathize with you without feeling that they are to blame for the other things which are upsetting you that aren't their fault. It's important that we manage our feelings without taking them out on our children, especially when they may have misbehaved. It can be really difficult trying to deal with your emotions when you have one or more children who could be acting crazy, making noise, or being mischievous. Make a point of explaining in an age-appropriate way to your children that you are feeling sad, upset, or angry about something, so that they know when you're not in a good mood. I used to do this, and still do, a lot when my children were small, and it works surprisingly well. Children are very perceptive, and by letting them know how you feel and explaining in simple terms, they may even make more effort to behave better so as to not upset you more, because you are their mother, and they naturally don't want to see you upset. It's also important not to be too proud to apologize to your children for mistreating them when you were really upset about something or someone else. The point of apologizing is so that you don't keep repeating the same behavior. It's also a way of teaching your child that adults will also make mistakes and should apologize, just like you encourage your child to apologize for mistakes or bad behavior. Constantly set an example by practicing what you preach. I often see parents coax their children into doing things that they themselves are not bothered to do. These could be things connected to the religion, such as praying, reading the Quran, or health-related things, such as eating fruits and vegetables and having a balanced diet, exercising, or education-focused things. We should be examples to our children that no one is ever too old to learn, develop, and grow. If you don't know how to read the Quran and you want your child to learn, then you should also learn how to read it. Let your children know that you are trying and making an effort. I learned how to read the Quran with my children from a sister at the local masjid. They saw and heard me struggle to read it at home. When they were old enough, I sent them to the madrasa to learn how to read there. They would learn and then we would revise together at home. This way, I learned many things from my children. They would correct my pronunciation and help me to learn the tajweed rules. We can encourage our children simply by doing the things that we want them to do, by doing it with them. I know that this is not always practical, but it's good to have at least one activity that you can do with your children which they recognize as something you do specifically together. Don't let everything be the responsibility of an external source. Show them that learning is for life by constantly learning yourself. Allow your children to flourish by learning alongside them. This is one of the things that I used to really love about homeschooling. I learned many things by trying to teach my children at home. I didn't pretend to know everything or just say, I don't know, and leave it there. I made a point of making the effort to find out new things that I didn't know. Use what you don't know as an opportunity to bond with your children, to find out and learn new things together. Another way to show them that you are learning is to take some time to do a course or something that you have wanted to do for yourself for a long time. You can raise your children and study. You are very capable of that. All you need to do is learn how to schedule and organize your time. Share some of your personal goals with them and try to achieve them together or let them see your achievements. What are your personal goals? You should share them with your children and any interests that you have. Your children can be your greatest cheerleaders and can give you that extra encouragement that you need to fulfill or work towards your dreams, while you also encourage them to reach their own. Push them to try new things, even if they are not interested. When trying new things, I usually get them to do something twice, and if they definitely don't like it, then at least they've had the experience and know for sure. It's important to push children outside of their comfort zones a little sometimes. Only then will they learn what they are capable of doing and get more confidence to do new things. They may seem very reluctant at first, but as their mother, you should strongly encourage them to try classes in different subjects so that they can get a broad experience of different things. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to be sensitive toward the needs of your children by putting yourself in their shoes and remembering your own childhood. Surely you had likes and dislikes of things or experiences that you went through as a child. Make a conscious effort not to put your child through the things that will also make them miserable. One thing that I hated as a child was being dragged to my parents' friend's house and staying there for long hours when I'd much rather have been at home drawing pictures or something. Sometimes I was put in a situation when I'd be expected to play with their friends' children that I didn't actually get on with either. Of course, it was not often, and sometimes it was unavoidable due to my parents' circumstances, but as a teen especially, it was still annoying. There's things like this that we need to pay attention to as parents. Be emotionally sensitive towards them, as well as think objectively. Your children are people, and they have thoughts and feelings too. Don't just assume that because they are small or have less life experience that they don't know anything. Make space and time for them to talk to you about their feelings as well as express their likes and dislikes. This will, inshallah, help you to understand them and their thought processes better. Respect your children and don't embarrass them in front of others. Remember they are amana, entrustment, and our brothers or sisters in deen. Your children will no doubt do some embarrassing things or even commit shameful acts knowingly or unknowingly. Be very careful who you talk with about the things that your children have done, as not everyone is there as a supporting friend with the best interest of your child in mind. This may be hard to accept, but it's true. Take care to discipline your children respectfully if there are other people around. Bear in mind their sensitivities, as they may respond negatively to being told off in front of people that they're not used to. Younger children are more likely to need correction publicly, as they are more likely to act out in public. As they get older and enter their teenage stage and the ages of maturity, they will develop a sense of privacy and personal space. They will also commit sins, as we all do. So bear this in mind, as we are supposed to hide the sins of others, and that includes our children. As long as those sins aren't against or involving others, we have no right to spread them. It's not right for us to go around telling our family members or friends of some or any of the misdeeds of our children that they have committed privately, when it doesn't have anything to do with other people. Let's not shame our children in this way. If there are extremely serious issues, i.e., pornography exposure, LGBT, drug abuse, etc., that you really need to talk to someone to get advice on how to help your child, make sure it is someone who already has experience in the matter and will keep your conversation confidential. Don't delay your prayers unnecessarily. Make your best effort to always perform your salah on time. Let your children be your reminders for prayer and encourage them from a young age to perform it with you. We should not use our children as an excuse to make our prayers late unnecessarily. It is normal for children to cry when the time of prayer has come, so let's help ourselves by keeping the prayer as short as we can in these circumstances. Allah knows your situation, so please take it easy on yourselves. Khushu', concentration in salah, is something that we all wish to attain, but the reality is, as a mother, it is more likely that you will never have the perfect situation or environment to be able to have that perfect prayer that you want. Focus on doing your prayers on time as much as possible, so that your children will take that example from you. My advice if you have small noisy children is, keep your prayers short, as well as on time. The later you leave the salah, the more stressful it can become, because you will have issues to deal with, and you will be running late with the prayer. So make things easy and keep it short. Then, if your schedule allows it, you can try to make your night prayers the ones where you can try to develop more of that closeness to Allah and focus on the salah and make them long. Read the Quran to them every day, so they will have it as a part of their lives, and when they are old enough, let them read it to you every day. If you make the Quran part of your everyday life in your home with your children, you will never run out of bedtime stories. I used to read the Quran to my children after their bedtime stories when I was trying to improve my reading. I think my daughter was about 8 and my son was 5 at the time. It would take me about an hour to read 10 pages, but it was really worth it. The children both loved the fact that I was with them while they were going to sleep, and it was a good way for me to make sure I practiced every day because they expected it, so it was hard to get away from not doing it. They became my little Quran police, always insisting that I come and read it to them. Learn from your children. Let your children teach you things and be grateful to them when they do. Don't be too proud to learn from them, and don't put them down and try to demean their efforts when they present you with something that you didn't know before. Listen to their opinions and ask them what they think as soon as they can talk. I love to consult my children on issues. You will be amazed at the wisdom that comes from children, especially when they are being raised upon the right guidance. By consulting your children, you are showing them a kind of respect that, inshallah, will return to you accordingly when they grow. As their mother, you are the one who will be responsible to make decisions for yourself and your children, but I think it's important to ask them what they think about different things to know and get an understanding of how they think and feel. Of course, this will also depend on their personality, as some children are more vocal than others when expressing their opinions. But if you know your child is less vocal, make a point of asking them individually so that they have the opportunity to open up to you. Show how much you love them every day. Love is not just in words, but in actions. If you find it easy to tell your children that you love them, do so. But don't forget to hug and kiss them. Once in a while, when you decide to treat them, talk to them and let them know why you decided to treat them. When they are sleeping, go and kiss them and tell them that you love them. This will help increase the bond between you. Make dua for them, in front of them, and also with them, asking Allah to give you all the best in this world and the hereafter. Safiya bint Maymuna al-Shaybani. Safiya bint Maymuna was the mother of the great Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal. She came from a noble family and a privileged background in Baghdad. She was widowed during her late 20s, but she refused to get remarried and chose to dedicate her life to raise her son. She taught the young Ahmed to be focused on the Akhirah and Allah. She educated him in language, Quran, history, and taught him to be patient and live minimally. From the age of 10, she used to wake him up before Fajr and pray the night prayer. Then they would go to the mosque for Fajr prayer and stay for classes. Later, she sent him to study in Mecca, Medina, and Yemen. Her son became Ahmed ibn Hanbal, the jurist, muhaddith, student of Imam Shafi'i, and founder of the Hanbali madhab.